Texas Republicans have never been more desperate. First, they put warrants out for our arrest. Then they told their supporters to hunt us down. And now they're trying to remove me from elected office. This is what it looks like when a president, a governor, and an entire political party work together in an attempt to overthrow an election. They are doing everything that they possibly can to cling to power and to subvert the will of millions of Americans. I am steadfast in my resolve to protect our country, our Constitution, and our democracy. This seat doesn't belong to Ken Paxton. It belongs to the people of Texas House District 136. I am not afraid, and I am not backing down.
I mean, they are going harder on elected officials that are simply trying to make sure that their constituents' voices are not minimized. Then they're going on, say, getting the Epstein files. Like, we know that y'all know how to move, clearly, because y'all done called in the FBI and everybody else trying to go after not pedophiles, right? Because we know that seemingly the commander-in-chief has a soft spot for pedophiles, because next thing you know, we know that Ms. Maxwell was transferred to a cushier existence in a federal system, penitentiary system, right? But now you want to go after lawfully elected people whose constituents are not upset with them at all, because they dared to do what democracy says we should do, which is to represent. So for those that don't understand, in our Texas Constitution, it specifically provides for breaking quorum. And this is one of those circumstances. And they're not doing it because they are the ones whose districts are on the chopping block. They're not doing it because they're concerned per se about individual congressional members. They're doing it because this country is on fire, and it is time for people to see that we have a fire in our belly. There are Democrats that are willing to wage a ridiculous fight if it means that we're going to protect democracy. So I love them, I thank them, and I stand with them.
In a move that should surprise no one, Texas officials have partnered with the Trump administration to try to hunt down the runaway Texas Democrat reps. Now, I read it at first as runaway slaves because that's how it's very much feeling. It feels very much like slave patrol. And like I said the other day, we are in the beginning parts of a cold civil war. But these types of actions, not just the arms race of congressional seats and gerrymandering or changing up your maps to control power, the types of actions that would have you going and arresting political opponents who, by the way, are doing the will of their constituents. Like I said, I was in Texas at the town hall, listening to the constituents telling the Democratic reps, break quorum, do not let them cheat like this. So the Texas Democrats have inspired the nation by pushing back against fascism and government overreach, only for more fascism and government overreach to be the Republican response. Now, Governor J.B. Pritzker has been explicitly clear that the FBI is not welcome in Illinois and called this entire conversation grandstanding because the federal government has no role in this. The subpoenas that are issued in Texas do not have any legal authority in Illinois or in New York, and the federal government does not work for the governor of Texas. So all of this doesn't make any sense. But as Greg Abbott and Texas Republicans have said that the FBI will drag these folks directly back to the House floor in Texas, we are finding ourselves at the beginning parts of a showdown that could be the beginning of what history books will always remember as how the Civil War took a whole big hot step. And regardless of what reasonable political persuasion you find yourself in, you'd have to understand the reality that invoking the FBI to arrest lawmakers because they refuse to allow you to cheat is ridiculous. And we'll see what happens next. But until then, thanks for coming to my TED Talk.
I don't know why people are so upset about Texas gerrymandering their districts, because everybody does it wrong. Even if it were true that everybody gerrymanders, which it's not, that wouldn't make it okay. There's such a problem that we have in our political discourse where instead of just addressing the issue at hand, is the thing that is occurring okay or not? People that don't want to face the reality of something being wrong, instead of acknowledging, oh, my side is wrong on this, instead they deflect and say, but what about totally irrelevant other issue, right? Texas is already the most gerrymandered state in the United States, and they want to gerrymander it more. Why? Because they know that Donald Trump's policies are so incredibly unpopular that they are going to lose the House in 2026 unless they cheat. Unless they suppress the will of the people and the will of voters so they can keep their chokehold on the ignorant Republicans who keep voting against their own interests in their districts. This is Texas District 35. It spans from San Antonio to Austin and is cut out in this shape, intentionally drawn by Republicans to suppress the vote. And this district already exists. This is just one example. If you look around the cities of Texas, they're all like this. They chop the hell out of their districts to try to suppress Democratic voters. And it is just not true that everybody does it. Most states are not like this. Texas is indisputably the worst. I think Wisconsin maybe is second place. The MAGA people like to deflect to New York and to California. Neither of those states are remotely as gerrymandered as Texas. Both California and New York have independent commissions that decide their districting maps. Both California and New York have come under fire for their maps seeming to have a partisan bias, and they've had to work on it to fix it. Texas has come under fire for their state being gerrymandered to hell, and their response is, yep, we have the power to do it, so we're going to.
We have some big news right now. Attorney General Ken Paxton of Texas has filed a lawsuit seeking to remove over a dozen Texas Democratic lawmakers who left the state in protest of the Republican gerrymander maps. And while the Texas Democrats are speaking out and they have a message to Ken Paxton, quote, come and take it, referring to their job. There is no legal authority under which Ken Paxton is able to theoretically expel these Texas Democratic lawmakers from their positions. But Republicans in Texas are becoming increasingly frustrated with the fact that they just can't get quorum right now. And, Governor, the special session that is currently in session, well, it ends in about 10 days. And so if these Texas Democratic lawmakers hold out for about 10 more days, then the special session ends and they can't pass the maps unless the governor calls a new special session, which will take a significant period of time. Republican frustration in Texas is growing. They're trying to kick these lawmakers out of their seats. And the lawmakers are saying, you know what? We're fighting back. Spread the word so more people know. Do a full breakdown on my Substack, linked in bio. Subscribe for free and follow along for more.
Breaking news, Texas Republicans just dropped maps that could rewrite the balance of power and silence millions of voters. Let's get into it. But before we do, please make sure to like, share, and follow my account so you can stay up to date on this and many other important news stories. On Wednesday, Texas GOP lawmakers unveiled their first draft of the new congressional map. This is a bold move to flip 5 Democratic House seats ahead of the 2026 midterm elections. In Houston, Democratic majority districts represented by Al Green, Lizzie Fletcher, and Sylvia Garcia are reconfigured into GOP-leaning districts. If enacted, the map would tilt 30 of 38 districts into Trump-leaning margins by at least 10 points each and giving Republicans an advantage in the 2026 midterms. The newly proposed map is currently under review in public hearings. It also must pass both chambers of the Texas legislature and be signed by Texas Governor Greg Abbott, all before August 19th. Will Texas go through with the new congressional maps? We'll have to wait and see. In the meantime, please like, share, and follow my account so you can stay up to date on all the news from Texas.
Do you want to know what a temper tantrum looks like? Yeah, I know. You've probably seen them a million times. But this one in particular is par for the course. Mega Grega and Cockeyed Cash are absolutely losing it because the House Democrats had the nerve to challenge them on trying to add 5 seats to Texas. They don't even have the sense to try to hide it. I mean, but they're not really good at that anyway. But they're so emboldened and so arrogant that they think that they could just go ahead and do this, and people will go, that's great, or, oh, too bad. Well, the way the Democrats have been acting lately, I wouldn't be surprised. But these 5 House Democrats said, fuck you, we're not standing for this. In fact, we're going to try to stand in the way of this, so we're going to go and stay in Illinois with J.B. Pritzker. And we'll do that until, well, they stop trying to pull their bullshit. So Mega Grega is saying all these crazy things. Oh, they're criminals. Oh, it's treason. Oh, arrest them. Lock them up and throw away the key and all that other kind of bullshit because they're not getting their own way. Because they're having a temper tantrum. Because they're so fucking fragile that they can't take any criticism or pushback. They're trying to make it so that Republicans will always rule. But there are some Democrats that are now fighting back, or have been fighting back, but nowhere near enough. So Greg and Mega and Cockeyed Cash decide the best way to resolve this is to hunt down these House Democrats and arrest them and drag them back to Texas. Again, because they're having a fit. Again, because they're not getting their own way. And all the other bullshit. So, that's where we stand. That's what a temper tantrum looks like. That's what crybabies do. That's what people with thin skin do. People unqualified and know it do. And so many other things. So let's hope for the best that these 5 Democrats are not arrested, are not dragged back to Texas, and they can, exercise their constitutional rights. I'm tired just talking about it. Anyway, there we have it.
The Texas House was ready to approve a redistricting plan. Now, this is a redistricting plan that has been talked about nationwide. The Democrats are very upset because they don't like that Texas continues to trend Republican. They don't like that the constituents actually want Republican policies, and so they pitched a fit, as they always do. They never want to play fair. They never want to just play by the rules. They always want to pitch a fit, and they want to look for loopholes. I mean, they came up with all of the tricks that you could think of, all of the tricks in the book that you could think of. They were like, but what about, people will then elect Republicans and not blacks. No, you guys, you think that I'm joking when I say that. No, there was actually a representative that said those words. Texas will, but then if you redistrict this, they'll elect Republicans rather than blacks, as if black people can't be Republicans. Don't believe me? Watch for yourself.
Because the way 9 is configured and the areas they went in, it's going to elect a Republican, not a black, as previously said. And I live in 18 and I object to the new one. It is packing in 18.
I just wanted to also state that just because you're Republican doesn't mean you won't be black if you're elected. That's all. Okay. So just because you're Republican doesn't mean you won't be black if you're elected. The Republican, you said the district is going to elect a Republican, and you said therefore not a black, and I'm just saying you could be black.
I apologize. I meant to say it's not a Democratic district. It is a Republican, drawn as a Republican district.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's awkward.
I'm not sure what the Texas Republicans are telling their base, but it seems like they're lying. And no surprise there, but apparently these folks are saying that these Texas House Democrats fled the state to avoid voting on election fraud or something like that. Bitch, that is actually comical because that has nothing to do with the reason why they broke quorum. Bitch. And it's like these Republicans, they just lie. They just keep on lying. It's like a kink or something. Always fucking lying. And then their base just believes any fucking thing. They want to call everybody sheep, but the sheep in question is them. Y'all, please. These Texas House Democrats broke quorum to avoid voting on redistricting, or in this case, gerrymandering, racist gerrymandering, when the current map that they're trying to gerrymander even further is already gerrymandered to hell. It's currently in litigation right now, the 2021 maps that we're operating under. So the fact that these folks are lying, they're fucking lying, and it's a crazy ass lie. Like, oh my God, these folks are unwell, insane.
Just to clarify with Texas Republicans, so it's bribery and like a felony. It would be a felony if Democrats who left Texas to break quorum accept donations to provide them with the funds to keep breaking quorum and like staying in Illinois to prevent a vote. But it's totally fine. It's not bribery or anything suspicious or weird when the CEO of Apple, Tim Cook, goes to the White House and gives the president a gold brick, a literal gold brick award, coincidentally around the time when he wants tariffs to not affect his company. That's fine. No bribery there. Did I get it right? Let me know.
Greg Abbott and Donald Trump think that the only way that they can win more seats in Texas is by redrawing the voting lines. So they're gerrymandering so that they can gain 5 more seats in Texas. So what are the Democrats doing? They're putting the pedal to the metal, and some of them have taken off and left Texas so that they don't have to vote for redistricting. Greg Abbott has put out a warrant for their arrest. Can you believe that? He thinks that he's going to be able to arrest them because they left the state of Texas so that they don't have to vote for this redistricting. Greg, what are you doing, Greg? Redistricting doesn't happen, but only every 10 years. And the only reason you're doing it is because this is the only way that you think that you can win. And you're doing it to appease your daddy Trump. We all know that you'll do whatever it takes to make him happy, but this is wrong. If the only way that you think that the Republicans will win the House is by redrawing the lines, then that's cheating.
Isn't it kind of weird how Texas is using that terrible flood that happened, took all those lives? They're using that to redistrict the entire state for more power. Isn't that really weird?
And the duel here in Texas continues, folks. The Texas House Democrats were given yet another deadline, and they failed to meet quorum today. They failed to show up. They are still in a bunch of different blue states, kind of scattered about the country, as they seek refuge in these, I mean, really, you can call them, what, third world sanctuary cities that they're hiding in. Attorney General Paxton has stated that he is getting ready to go to court to begin the process of removing these Democrats from office. And additionally, Governor Abbott did say that he is prepared to call special session after special session until the agenda is voted on and passed. So Texas will be indeed redistricted by this next upcoming election.